Hello everyone, welcome live to 3Wide TV, tonight's broadcast of the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. Tonight, we have a little bit of a fun one back at Talladega. Not the first time we've been to Talladega this season in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series, but we have the MaxGrafix.co on board for tonight's race. And let me tell you a little bit about Max Grafix, folks. Not only one of the best painters in all of iRacing, but also thinking of you. That's right, MaxGrafix.co. That's one less letter to type in than .com, because Chris Darling knows you don't have time to screw around. Big thanks to tonight's race sponsor, MaxGrafix.co. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is none other than Justin White. And Justin, you come into tonight inside the top 10 in points, believe it or not, but you won't be out there on the racetrack. You'll be up here in the booth here tonight. Tell us a little bit about Talladega and what's new this week to the iRacing service.
Well, Tuesday we had a pretty big update to come up, and looks like the typical drafting you normally see here and on Talladega with the Superspeedway and the Cup car is not going to be part of the equation. Can't really suck up to the person behind that's in front of you, so you can't really bump them down the straightaway as normal. So we won't see speeds top 200 here tonight. We'll probably see maybe 190, 194 in the draft. So this is definitely going to be extremely interesting. Tire wear is going to be a whole lot less than normal, so this will be basically get up front and stay up front.
Yeah, of course, with a big iRacing update this week, tweaking the draft package here in the service. In fact, it looks like we're going to have a group qualifying here tonight, so all the cars will presumably line up here at the end of pit road, including that number 20 machine of Andrew Himmelman right there. You see those cars finally starting to roll off. A little bit different than what we typically see here is I think that's JT Poole in the 26 machine. They're pulling off to the left-hand side of the screen. But Andrew Himmelman here trying to find his little spot in line. But going back to that update, yeah, completely tweaked the draft package, completely tweaked the way these cars drive around one another. From what I have heard here tonight, Justin, it will make side drafting more important than what we have ever seen before on the iRacing service.
Yes, side drafting will be huge. You can literally pull up right next to the person and kind of swing close down to their either right or left side and suck all of the air off the front of their car, or put air back on the front of their car, and you can watch a 3 to 5 mile an hour difference of slow, because it's just amazing. I've already been out there practicing with these guys, and it's the side draft is going to be a huge factor.
Yeah, that is going to be one thing we'll keep an eye on here tonight. I'm sure we'll have some interested viewers in the chat, and we already have a couple of people joining us here tonight as we see this qualifying group out there right now with the number 62, Colin Ullery. We got Steven Doziak in the chat. We got Tane Immelman, Johnny Williams as well, saying hello all and good luck to all the Total Nonstop Racing drivers. We got Christy Woodard in the chat saying, I stubbed my toe, bro, ouch. When I saw that, I thought you said you subbed to the channel. But that is completely different than you stubbing your toe. So hopefully you can get that sorted out. Hopefully your toe is all right. We also got Motorsports Ariel saying, Wolf Pump's team of James and Woody, let's go. And JT Poole earlier today said, hi, Peter, Drew, Carlos, Justin, and everyone else in the 3Wide team. So thank you very much for that. And hopefully everyone here is enjoying a little bit of 3Wide TV action as we continue to watch your current points leader there. That being Colin Ullery in that West Virginia Mountaineers number 62 machine, losing some of the cars in front of him. Just those cars pulling away. That's, I think, one thing we're going to see here tonight with this new draft package.
Yeah, if you let off the throttle in any form or fashion, you're going to lose that draft. And we're going to see a lot of guys lose the draft and then have a few more guys lose the draft, and those guys will re-team back up and hopefully march back to the front. Normally 2 by 2, 3 or 4 rows deep is faster, but for some reason you get 4 or 5 cars in a single line, they will literally walk the dog, as they say on the field.
Definitely going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on here tonight. You see the number 19 machine. That is Woody Woodard going down the backstretch. Right behind him, that is the number 8 machine. Assuming number 8 machine's Woody Woodard. The number 19 right there in front of him. It's going to be interesting to see. That's Matthew Clark there in the number 19 machine, I should say. Going to be interesting to see exactly how it all plays out here tonight at Talladega. Definitely going to be a little bit different than what we have seen so far this season. But this has been the Fast Pack right now. That is Jeffrey Vickery, the threat level Midnight Motorsports machine right there at the front of this little bit of a 3-car tandem with Andrew Himmelman right there in the middle, and the number 97, Mike Floppy Teller. You can see them currently running 1, 2, 3 on the board. So far, so good for these three. But as you can see in front of them, that appears to be a pack of cars that have lined up quite well. We'll see whether or not they can get wound up or not to kind of keep this run going. We're on board right now with Andrew Himmelman in the number 20 machine, still second place on the board.
That that gyro cam is kind of interesting. An interesting feel around Talladega with its steep corners. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're watching this pack of cars here. Now, they will get this lap time in. Now, the one thing about group qualifying is actually you get to run an extra lap. So as soon as the checkered flag does fly, you can continue to stay out there on the racetrack to get your next lap time in. So it's really 5 minutes plus 1 lap here in iRacing. There's contact back there. That's the number 16 machine. And I think that might have been Ben Adams in the 5 who saved it. Was that Ben Adams? Yes, it was right there. Got the sim shots. Excuse me, that was just in front of Ben Adams in the number 5 machine. I do apologize. That being the number 51 machine, Paul Bilson, who saved it. But as the checkered flag is going to fall here, these cars that are on a hot lap out there on the racetrack, they will continue their lap time to try and see if they can top Mike Floppy Tellier, the number 97 atop the board right now. But this group of cars right here with a full head of steam, can they keep the pedal to the metal and pull out a last-minute pole? We'll have to wait and see. Garrett Gleason saying, hi, everyone. Good luck. Hi there, Doze. I'm here. Of course, that being Steven Doziak. Hopefully you're in the show here tonight, Garrett, in the number 7 machine, but we'll see if this group of cars can top Mike Floppy Tellier. Does not look like it. Looks like Tellier will lead us to the green flag here, Justin.
Yep, he got that awesome toe draft where he was right behind a couple of cars and just followed in behind and got a great draft toe draft all the way around the track, and that's why he ended up with the pole. And I'm listening to the iRacing chat among these drivers, and just on qualifying, the tempers are already starting to flare, so this may get exciting early.
And that's something you don't often see here on these super speedways, Justin, because you know what? How important is qualifying on these super speedways? It's not really important to get that hot lap in qualifying, but at least that's the way it was. It might be a little bit different here tonight with this new draft package with how difficult it is to draft with one another.
Yeah, I'm thinking whoever qualifies up on the front row is going to stay there for quite some time, unless you get a few cars in behind them to help push. But even with that side draft is, I mean, it was like the old school Darren Hart Jr., 2014, 2015 days of watching these super speedways where the popper is going to pull out front and just lead the entire field, and nobody's going to be able to get around them.
So, folks, we will have to see. Welcome to Talladega Super Speedway, Talladega, Alabama, 2.66 mile racetrack. Used to be an Air Force base back in World War II. In fact, you can see 2 of the runways there meeting one another right there in the infield here. Those 2 runways still exist, both concrete runways, and pretty cool that they were able to convert that into a super speedway. Not the first time that a airfield has been turned into a racetrack, but here we go. Number 97 machine, Mike Floppy Tellier, will start to go through tonight's starting lineup. The 97 there, starting on the inside of Andrew Himmelman. Great qualifying lap there by this little group. In fact, it was these front 3 cars all working together to get that good lap timing. Starting on row number 2 on the inside, that of course being Jeffrey Vickery in that cart. There he is, JT Poole in the number 26, starting alongside on row number 2. Row number 3 on the inside, that would be William Kerwin in the number 52 machine. Great qualifying lap time for him here tonight to start there on row number 3. And Cody Nevin will roll off in 6 in the number 58 machine, but it does look like it is the 21N on that race car. So if you're a Cody Nevin fan, keep your eyes out for the 21N and the 58 on the scoring pylon here tonight. On the inside of row number 4, back behind them, that is Nicholas Bradley and Ben Adams. And rounding out your top 10, Kyle Lewis in the number 18 machine back there, as well as the number 1 of Jason Gracias. There, Justin.
Yep, row 6, we Paul Wilson and Evan Gilbert. On row 7, it looks like it'll be Colin Ullery and Ben Mashburn. On row 8 is James Woodward and Matthew Clark. Row 9 will be Woody Woodward and Brian Bradley. And row 10 will be Chris Darling and Nathan Morrow. Row 11 is Philip Scott and Brent Wilson. Row 12, Doug Neal and Garrett Gleason. Doug Neal, the chief. Row 13 is not myself. I'm not out there. And John Doble. 27th is Evan Burke. And 28th is Shane Ledoux. And that will be the top. Yeah, the 28 cars rolling off tonight. Well, 27 minus me.
Yeah, you're not out there. You're stuck up here in the booth with me here tonight. I hate to say it there, Justin. And gotta say, for only having 2 starts this season, you are up there in the point standings. Very, very impressive inside the top 10. And, of course, that is due to this point system that they run here in this particular Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway series, because you really get those points for finishing well. You don't get points for finishing outside of the top 10, really. You might get some bonus points, but really it's to try and get these drivers to finish the race. Limit the accidents here on these super speedways. They do have fast repairs, or one fast repair, I should say, but the administrators of the league want these drivers to go out there, have some fun, get to the checkered flag, and that's how you pick up those points, finishing inside the top 10. Of course, to get the points, first you must finish, so wrecking does not do you any benefit. But the brand new iRacing pace car right at the front of the field, and that's one of the new additions this week on the iRacing service. In fact, that iRacing pace car actually going to take an early look down pit road. You don't often see that. Usually that pace car all of a sudden just yanks it hard left and heads down pit road at the very last second. But maybe that's another thing that iRacing has worked on over the past couple of months, getting that pit car to pit just behave a little bit more realistic. As the field already having a little bit of a stack up back there. The one of Gracias kind of peeking his nose out to the outside here, maybe thinking of jumping the start. Waiting for the green flag to fall. Finally, the green flag flies, and Mike Floppy Taylor did not get a good start there, Justin.
No, he did not. It looked like he missed a shift, and we're going to have Andrew Hillman pulled out in front of him. That's where you want to be on this new Super Speedway package. Low and suck down to the yellow line. So, and let's see if he can control the field, because it looks like JT Poole is going to pull up out here beside him, but Andrew Hillman decides to stay low right there.
Yeah, and you see that number 97 machine of Mike Floppy Tellier get right up to the back bumper of Andrew Himmelman. Now, if you are a fan of 3Wide TV and you've been watching over the last few weeks, Andrew Himmelman has been on a little bit of a roll here on the channel. Got the win last week in the Total Nonstop Racing League's money race. It was a mid-season non-points paying event. And oh man, just like that, Andrew Himmelman having a little bit of connection issues at the front of the field. That won't ease those nerves here as we complete lap number 1 here at Talladega. The field all formed up nice and neatly. The one machine, Jason Gracias, alone by himself there on the top line.
Yeah, it looks like he decided to take the TV channel, or the channel serious, and went 3-wide on 3Wide TV. So, but now that low line looks to be gaining some momentum, and that high line is falling back quick. Oh, and we've already got a wreck.
Yeah, I see the number 5 machine going around. That is Ben Adams. We'll see if a caution flag flies here. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. This is coming out of turn number 2. We'll see if we can go to the blimp cam, kind of slow things down. Contact there with the 21 machine checked up, and the 51 of Billson gets into the back of the 28 machine, and it is on from there. The number 19 also getting involved. That's Matthew Clark. We stay green, folks, and that is heavy, heavy contact there for the number 5 of Adams.
Yeah, it looks like he'll have to use his fast repair early tonight, so he'll have to kind of play it safe for the rest of the race. Hopefully he can get a caution here, because he is way, way behind there.
Yeah, there's that initial...
Going.
Yeah, you saw that initial contact, and it just stacked him up. And unfortunately for a couple of the other cars, nowhere to go. Let's see if we can go on board here. Just back it up with the number 19 machine, who there comes the 5 and the 28 coming down, making that heavy contact. You can see all that front damage on Matthew Clark's machine. That is not going to bode well for him. We'll jump back live here, and as you can see, Matthew Clark has very much lost the pack. It's going to be near on impossible with this new draft package for, you know, just a few cars, 2 or 3 to close down the main group. We'll see whether or not they can form back up back there and kind of hold on, but that might be what they have to do, is just hold on at this stage of the race, as it seems like the first, I'd say, is that Nathan Maurer back there? I believe it is, the number 27 machine. So the front 13 cars have already kind of broken away here due to that incident, Justin. I think it's going to be difficult for the field to get formed back up without a caution.
Yeah, they're going to have to get in a straight line and get in a straight line quick. Let's see these back 3 to 5 cars right here that's behind this main pack. I think it's led by Chris Darling. Let's see if they can close that gap. I think they're only, by looking at the score pile, look about 2 seconds behind that main pack. Let's see if they can close it down and see if this will make the race a little interesting later.
Yeah, so that is Cody Nevin right now falling back to the 13th position. There's that little train of cars that you just mentioned, which includes Jason Gracias, who slid back to the back of the field. So we'll keep our eyes on that, running lap number 5 here of 58 here tonight. Big shout out to tonight's race sponsor. We'll make sure to bring them up once again, because it is the maxgraphics.co. Now, my math would not be perfect here, as you see JT Poole there just jump onto your screen, but it's about 150 miles here tonight. I think it is 150 miles, trying to do the math in my head on the fly, but we're riding on board here with the number 58 machine right back there. But Andrew Himmelman, like you said, Justin, you want to be the Pied Piper here at Talladega. You want to be up front, and for right now, Andrew Himmelman so far has led all 5 of the opening laps here around the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway.
Yep, and then they've tried a few attempts to get the line formed outside to try to take the lead from them, but there's been no charge. It's been basically Andrew Hillman the whole way. I'm watching that second group led by Chris Darling, and they are losing time. Well, no, they lost time, but then they just gained it right back right there. So they're slowly catching it, but it takes a while to catch that pack. So you definitely want to keep touch with the main pack.
RC Planes in the chat doing the math for me. 154 and 2/3 miles. So that's a fun one. So tonight's race, the maxgraphics.co 154.66 mile race. That is a handful. We'll see if we can get on Chris Darling, maybe to have a little bit better race distance next time. We'll figure that one out. But big shout out to Chris Darling and maxgraphics.co for sponsoring tonight's race. And, really cool to see Max Graphics with all of the paint schemes. They keep punching out, Justin. It seems like Chris Darling is always posting pictures of a new paint scheme that he gets out of his stable out there onto the racetrack, 2 or 3 a week it seems like, which is extremely impressive for him to have that level of creativity and really design some stellar looking race cars.
Yeah, he did. He designed mine for me, my Grinds Coffee Pouches car, and then he's also done a few logos for me, and he does what's the word I'm looking for, broadcast or streaming overlays as well, and he has the artistic talent to bring up some really neat ideas.
We're watching Doug Neal here, a little bit of contact there on entry into turn number 1 with the 51 machine of Bilson. Bilson also making contact with the number 1 of Gracias, and Doug Neal had a huge bucking Bronco in the SIMBOX number 78. Finally able to corral it, get it back underneath him. He's going to have to close back up to the back bumper of Bilson, but you can see Bilson there in the number 51 and the 78 have kind of lost the group of cars in front of him. And I'm just wondering, do you think, Justin, we're seeing a little bit of impatience with this new draft package. All these drivers are used to the old draft package where you could go up there, you could make passes. As you see the 47 there, Chris Darling, looks like he's got some front end damage. You can make those passes, you could suck up to the other cars. These cars with this new draft package, they just don't have that ability to suck up to the field like what we used to see. That might lead to a little bit more impatience amongst these drivers.
Well, there's definitely impatience. I'm already watching it. These guys are used to being nose to tail, 4 or 5 cars deep, 2 wide, and going after it, and they are already struggling big time right now trying to maintain a solid single file draft line so they can push to the front. I'm looking at Chris Darling's car, and he's got a ton of front end damage. Nathan Maurer right in behind him has a ton of rear end damage. It makes me want to wonder if those two ended up coming together at some point, because any damage on that car at all, even on the front or the back, is going to ruin that slipstream ability through the draft in the air, and you are going to fall back quick.
Yeah, that is definitely something to keep our eyes on tonight, with just how this draft package does with damage here on iRacing. And another thing that I was hearing amongst the iRacing community earlier this week was that this particular damage model with these Cup cars is not as forgiving as it used to be. If you do what I like to call the slam draft, it doesn't do as well as it used to. You get more damage quicker with harder bump drafting. So maybe that's what happened there with Chris Darling, and I believe Nathan Maurer was the one who has some of that rear end damage. We'll just keep an eye on that, see if we can see any indication of whether or not that's true as the night goes on. But one thing that is true, that number 20 continuing to lead here at Dega.
He's led all 11 laps so far, and he's not looking like he's going to give up that lead anytime soon. So, yeah, that damage model is something else. A little small ding or blemish was like a giant parachute in this car. So it affects the handling, affects how the car sucks up to the draft. So like I said, we've got, I think, 10, 11 cars up front. They're trying to maintain a single file, and then we got 5 or 6 cars in behind them, and those guys are running side by side, and I do not see them catching that main pack running side by side like they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you back behind this group, which goes from the 11th position, that is JT Poole, all the way back to Philip Scott, who's currently running in 16th in the National Ninja League Ford Mustang. This group not catching right now. Then you have to go back another couple seconds. That is, of course, Doug Neal there and Paul Bilson, who were involved in a little bit of a scuffle in turn number 1 about 3 or 4 laps ago. But back behind them, you have to go another 4 seconds. That's when you got Shane Ledoux, the threat level midnight machine, right there running in front of Garrett Gleason in the Dunn Raceway Park number 7 machine. Woody Woodard also there, and John Doble in the number 97. Let's see if we can keep our eyes on that number 91 machine right there. Get a little bit of look of that Camping World race car back there. Just a brief look. There goes John going past the camera. And we saw a lot of Camping World cars out there on the racetrack over the last couple of weeks in iRacing, because the owner of Camping World said, hey, if you run an iRacing car or a truck, you're eligible to possibly walk away with a $100 Camping World gift card. So we've seen a lot of them, and that's one right there. So a good-looking one as well. I've seen everything this week, Justin. I've seen good-looking Camping World cars. I've seen not-so-good Camping World cars and trucks. But that one right there, the number 91 of John Doble, looks pretty snazzy.
That's a good-looking paint scheme. I like that scheme when he debuted it on the main Discord chat a few days ago, and that's really a neat, snazzy little scheme right there. And hopefully he'll get noticed and get himself $100 from Camping World.
Yeah, definitely really cool to have that. You get another look at it here on the zoom camera as he works his way through turn number 1 and 2. I do believe that is a Canadian flag right there above the driver's door, working his way down the backstretch right now. But then back behind that group, you have to go quite a ways back. Brett Wilson all by his lonesome in the number 10 machine, working with the number 5 of Ben Adams. Now, Adams, if you're looking on the scoring pylon on the left-hand side of your screen, currently being scored 1 lap down, had to come down, use that fast repair after that contact on the backstretch, which did not bring out a caution flag, but has definitely split out the field. Brett Wilson still on the lead lap in the number 10 machine. Evan Burke in the 42. There he is. Evan, all by his lonesome. He's not gaining any time on the lead pack at all. Then you have Matthew Clark, Ben Adams, and Evan Gilbert all currently running 1 lap down. There is the number 19 of Matthew Clark, first car 1 lap down. In fact, not sure for how much longer that will be. As you can see, all that damage on the number 19. Don't think he's come down to use his one and only fast repair here tonight. Hoping to see a caution flag to get back onto the lead lap, if at all possible. But speaking of the lead lap and back up at the front, it is still the number 20 of Andrew Himmelman, as that front group of what is, I believe, 9 cars is, well, they were running single file. The 97 of Tellier says, you know what, folks, I've had enough of this. I want to jump to the top side and see if I can get some help, but not getting any help right now, trying to use that side draft to try and pull himself level. Will we see more cars fan out here on the backstretch? Not particularly. Maybe start to get double file towards the back, but Tellier all by his lonesome on the top side.
Yeah, it looks like Himmelman left that bottom lane open, and Mike Tellier, Floppy pulled up pretty quick to him because you got a little sniff of that front air, and then Himmelman come back down in that SIMBOX machine and almost got taken out by the little side swap right there, and that would have been just a true accident, but that's just part of this new Superspeedway package that iRacing had.
Yeah, and you can see Tellier has dropped from the 2nd position all the way back to 9th, so he's now the last car in this lead pack of cars. But one thing I'm keeping my eyes on here, Justin, is the fact that we have 42 laps to go. That means that we're 16 laps into a run. We were kind of talking about this prior to the race, as you see the 97 of Tellier once again try to use that tie line to see if he can get some momentum going. Just no one going with him just yet. Maybe getting a little bit of the benefit of the side draft there. But unfortunately, just, again, nobody going with him, so he'll be stuck to drop back down behind the number 23 of Ben Mashburn, right in front of him in that McDonald's machine. But going back to my point, we were talking about this prior to the start of the race, the amount of laps they have on fuel. We think they can get to 18 to 20 laps, so we're getting really close to that window and when we'll see some of these cars on pit road.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like Larry Mack here for a minute, but the pit window opens between 18 to lap 22, and they are on lap 18 now, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, pitting early is not going to help you here. Pitting with a group of people, that's going to be the help. And I'm hearing on the iRacing chatter that this top group is coordinating together to come down pit road, hopefully all at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be this time. Nope, not this time. Maybe next time they're going to come down, but they're coming in the next few laps.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether or not that indeed happens or not. But at least for right now, Andrew Himmelman continuing to lead here at Talladega. MaxGraphics.co, 154.66 mile race here tonight. 18 laps in the books, 40 laps left to go. First pit stop upcoming. If you're just now joining us, we've been caution-free for every single lap that we have run so far, but that hasn't been without incident. We did have a spin on the backstretch that did not bring out a caution flag, as the 97 of Tellier tries to jump out of line once again, but not anything doing on that high groove just yet. And one thing that's really interesting there, through the corner, and this I think backs up your point, Justin. I know you were in the car earlier, but look at the spacing between all those cars. That is a pretty decent gap between each one of these cars that you didn't used to see with the old draft package.
Oh, you used to see them nose to tail, 10, 11 cars deep on that single file, on that, like that bottom line. So, and I'm just getting word that they're coming this time to pit. And I've been watching that second pack, which they just hit pit road, but they were closing up some time on this lead pack because they were going 2 by 2, 3, 4 cars from the rear of this lead pack. So Obviously, staying in a straight line, we'll catch the cars in front of you, but you got to be committed to it, which I think these guys are now getting ready to hit pit road now.
Yeah, they're going to come down pit road. Indeed, here comes everyone. Anyone going to stay out? Looks like Tellier. No, Tellier's going to make a late lunge down to pit road. Is he going to get down to pit road? Speeding penalty? No, he's not. There's contact. There's a lot of contact getting to pit road. This is a disaster. The 40 machine, I think, has gone around. This is not what you want to have to see. Oh, the 18 and the 21 making contact. This is a melee coming to pit road. Bilson also struggling to get down to pit road speed. Folks, we're going to have to dial up a replay of this one because this is the ugliest pit road entries that I have seen in quite some time. We'll try and slow this down. Watch the number 40 on the left-hand side of your screen hitting the cone just behind the scoring ticker. The 97 machine, the 16 also went around. And it wasn't done yet because here comes the number 21 machine. Right there, Jeffrey Vickery trying to come onto pit road, and all of a sudden the 18 tries to turn around. The 40 trying to... Oh, how many times have you seen synchronized spinning on pit road, Justin?
Looks like these guys are preparing for the Summer Olympics that's coming next year. Kind of like what Ben Adams did last week. He was trying out for the gymnastics portion, and now they're doing synchronized spinning. We'll see if that becomes a new Olympic sport.
Well, the good news for Andrew Himmelman in the number 20 machine is he was able to get off pit road nice and neatly, and he is continuing to be the race leader here tonight. We'll see if we get any more cars coming down pit road. Is this? Oh, the 78. Doug Neal might have a speeding penalty. He might have to come down to his pit box. That is a very tough break for the SIMBOX machine because he had a fantastic pit stop, possibly because he had a speeding penalty. Not sure, but this field all of a sudden completely broken up. Look at the number 20 of Himmelman out to a second lead right now. Mashburn, Gracias, and Darling trying to close in.
Yeah, looks like Himmelman's pulled out to a 1 second lead, and these guys in behind him have got, I think Darling's used his fast prepare. They're all lined up. Himmelman is going to be a sitting duck here in a few laps. They're literally going to blow right by him like he doesn't exist.
So we'll keep our eyes on these couple of packs of cars trying to close in on the race leader, but Himmelman is under fire for the first time here tonight. Here comes Ben Mashburn, the McDonald's number 23 machine, going to jump up to the high side. Now he's going to drop down to the low side, going to leave the number 1 Gracias all by his lonesome up there at the front of the field. You see that second group of cars trying to stay lined up, doing all they can to close in on what is now a 4-car draft at the front of the field. And I am going to go out on a limb here, Justin, and say that for the first time here tonight, Ben Mashburn is not only going to lead a lap, but... Well, he did lead last time by, but he's not only going to lead a lap, but we might see now kind of the Ben Mashburn period of the race. It just doesn't seem like we've had the opportunity to pass. As you see, the 97 machine, Mike Floppy Tellier, going a lap down after getting a pit road penalty.
Yeah, he tried to get a little too much there on pit road, so now he's got to pay the price, and I was wrong. I figured they would leave Hillman hanging out to dry, but Mashburn dropped down in front of him. Darling pulled up behind Himmelman, gave him a little bit of a shot, and they're now trying to make a 4-car lead tandem, I guess not tandem, double tandem, and hopefully pull away from the 2 cars behind him, with Tellier being the third car as a lap down. So we're going to see what happens here. They're going to pull up quick, and they're going to make a pretty decent sized pack, and they're going too wide here. They're going for the lead. They're going to try to get the lead and get the lead now.
Yeah, you were right on board here with the number 26 at JT Pool. So that second group of cars has not only caught the leader, but he has a huge head of steam looking to the high line. Right behind the 47 of Darling. Now Poole going to drop to the low line. Right behind Andrew Himmelman. You got a bunch of cars now lined up on the inside groove. Only 2 on the high line. Numbers typically prevail here at Talladega. We'll see whether or not that holds true, because the number 1 there of Gracias, the total nonstop racing machine, trying to hold tough just to the outside of Poole. Nathan Maurer now in that gaggle of cars right there. The number 27, typically the 971 if you follow us in the SIMBOX Truck Series. And folks, tomorrow night, big night for the SIMBOX Truck Series. It is the season finale. You don't want to miss it. You want to be right here on 3 Wide TV, 9 o'clock Eastern, for Chicagoland. And I'll tell you what, Justin, I'm looking forward to that one because Chicagoland has gotten that quote-unquote multi-groove treatment that iRacing has been doling out. A little bit of the track I&I edits from back in the NASCAR Racing 2003 days. They've been trying to give more racetracks multiple grooves, and I'm looking forward to that one as once again we have a battle for the race lead. Here comes Himmelman. Mashburn stuck in the middle over 3 wide for the race lead.
3 wide, and Himmelman is going to come out front again with Maurer, kind of give him that little bit of an air push. And JT's pulling back alongside Maurer, and we're going to, and there's 3 right behind them with Darling pushing Mashburn hard right now, trying to get to the front as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, looks like Gracias is now going to be the one stuck on the high line. How quickly they go from 3 wide back to single file here at Dega, but Himmelman going to get himself back up to the race lead. So far, he has led 21 laps. We will make that 22 this time, working their way through the tri-oval. There is the number 78 machine, Doug Neal, pit road speeding penalty on that Chevrolet. So he will fall 1 lap down and drop in back behind Mike Floppy Tellier and Jason Gracias. Those 2 TNR machines back at the back of this group now. But it just seems like we now have a decent number of cars formed up at the front. You have to drop 10 seconds. Yes, 10 seconds back to the next group of cars right there. Colin Ullery right in front of Cody Nevin, the number 40 there, who is right in front of this group. Of course, that's Nicholas Bradley. Bradley was one of those cars who missed pit road, got a pit road violation for doing so. Actually killed the yellow cone there on entry, unfortunately. Rest in peace for the yellow cone. F in the chat, whatever you want to say, to pay your respects to that cone. But this group, 10 seconds back behind your race leader, and then you have to go even further back behind the number 58 of Nevin to a small group led by Paul Bilson and the number 51. As you see this group, think about going side by side. There is, we'll just get the eyes on Paul Bilson. There he is. We got Jeffrey Vickery back there, and a couple of these cars were involved in that pit road scuffle, including that number 21 machine. It just seemed like everyone trying to get all they could get on pit road. Didn't quite work out for a decent number of cars, surprisingly.
Well, and it looks like these cars up here, like Gracias, he is so impatient. He is wanting to go to the front. JT Poole just pulled out. Mashburn sucked up right there to Maurer and is going to leave JT Poole hanging outside, but Gracias is going to hopefully suck up to JT, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep that outside line moving. It looks like you need to be on the inside line and in a straight line to even remotely have a chance at being at the front at the end of this race.
Yeah, but for Himmelman, he's been having such a fantastic run here tonight, closing in on leading half of the race. In fact, speaking of half of the race, we are going to see the crossed flags this time around in the maxgraphics.co 154 and 2/3. Definitely an interesting a number of miles here, but you know, it's a 2.66 mile racetrack. It's not the easiest thing to split up because it is not the most nice number in the world. In fact, I think
when you're the sponsor and you're the admin of the league, you get to make the rules up sometimes.
Hey, that's right. In fact, a big shout out to maxgraphics.co because maxgraphics.co is bringing you the race tonight here on 3Y TV, paying for all the fees to get the iRacing race set up, the broadcast as well. So sponsorship does go a long way here, not only on 3Y TV, but in the National Sim Racing Association Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. Big shout out to Taz Racing Customs as well for sponsoring this particular series. And folks, if you're in the chat and you want a custom diecast, especially one of those maxgraphics.co machines, because those Max Graphics cars are wheat. You want a custom diecast of one of those, check out our friends over at Taz Racing Customs. There's a link in the description tonight for Taz Racing Customs, so make sure you click that link and you can find all that you need to get your own custom diecast, whether it's an iRacing car or a real world NASCAR that you might want a custom diecast of. Make sure you check out our friends that helped put together this series. You see, oh, wow, Ben Adams there, the number 5 machine, washing up the racetrack right in front of his stepson there. Andrew Himmelman leading the race. Ben Adams, you know, kind of setting up there on the high groove, and the number 5 machine going to fall 2 laps down, unfortunately, after that early race contact a little bit further back. And then we look at your current points leader coming into tonight. That is Colin Ullery. And Ullery's put together quite a few good Super Speedway races, just hoping to see another caution flag to get back up towards the front there, Justin.
Yeah, he's been in the top 10 quite a few times, won a few of these races, and that's why he's leading the points. And like I said, the top 10 finishers at the end of the race are the ones who get the points. So 11th will get you none. 10th and above is the only way you'll get points. Oh, and it looks like Maurer is getting a little bit loose with Mashburn, giving him a little shot right there. Let's see if it splits the pack up.
It sure looks like it has. We'll see if we can go back and get a replay of that. But how about this 4 wide? Darling and Mashburn in the middle. Maurer on the inside groove. Now we're back to 3 wide. But man, 4 wide on 3 wide TV. We're going to have to call it 4 wide TV here if they can continue that here at Dega. If they sort things out, we're still 3 wide right up here at the front of the field because Darling kind of shot himself up the middle. Now they're a little bit side by side further back as all of a sudden Mashburn in the 23 machine, the only car to lead laps beyond Andrew Himmelman here tonight, going to drop back to the back half of the field. And with this lap led, Andrew Himmelman will lock up the most laps led here tonight at Dega in the number 20 SimShots machine. Really cool looking ride here tonight on that race car. But you know what? I'll tell you what, these laps are clicking off really quickly here, Justin, and it won't be all too long before we start talking about coming down pit road once again.
Yeah, they're getting there. I think they're on either 14 or 15 of the fuel run. So in the next, 6 laps? We saw last 7 laps. They're going to hit pit road one more time, it looks like. Yep, one more time. And this will, as they say in the broadcast of real life NASCAR, other than sim racing, this will be the money stop. Let's see them get on pit road first, get off the get their tires or fuel, whichever one they're going to do, and get off first. Because as you can tell with Himmelman leading, that is where you want to be, is the leader. Usually you want to be second place, coming out of 3 and 4 and setting up that leader for a last lap slingshot pass. But here tonight, it looks like the lead car is going to be the place you want to be. That's the catbird seat.
So it could all come down to the money stop, like you mentioned there, Justin. We're right on board with the man who currently is in first. That is Andrew Himmelman, JT Poole, the Zappo potato chips machine right behind him. We've seen a couple good runs recently out of JT Poole over in the SIMBOX Truck Series. So Poole trying to pick up another W here tonight. And what about Nathan Maurer there, just showing a nose back behind the number 26 of JT Poole up here in the lead train as wow. Things starting to get racy once again. Unfortunately, not going to get a replay of when they were 3 or 4 wide a couple laps ago, but it seems like these cars are now starting to get all up kind of on top of one another going through the corners. And I'm wondering, Justin, possibly if it might be the tires possibly wearing off just a little bit. I know we talked about tire wear probably being a little bit lower than what you typically see, but I'm sure a lot of these drivers didn't take any tires under their first pit stop.
Yeah, I'm looking at the time on pit road, and it looks like the first one to take tires was Brian Bradley, the 16 car, in 11th. He was in his pit stall for 15 seconds. So everybody else ahead of him was either in there for 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds. So they only took fuel only, and maybe one set of right sides, because that's about all the time you're going to get before the car with this load cell being only floated to 40%, it looks like.
Yeah, so everyone still single file up at the front of the field. We now have just 22 laps to go. We think the pit window will open up here in the next 2 or 3 laps for all these drivers to make it all the way to the end of the race. Himmelman by far has led the most laps here tonight. If you're just now joining us as they blast their way down the back stretch, there is I believe that's the number 18 machine that we just saw them put 1 lap down. That is going to put Well, let's see. That's Kyle Lewis. Looks like he's being scored 9 laps down, unfortunately, in that car. Not sure if that was connection issue or whether or not he didn't use a faster pair. But we got takers on pit road. The 47 machine of Chris Darling coming down. Looks like the 23 of Mashburn. And, man, that 47 machine looked fast. It looked way fast there getting to pit road. The 18 machine going wicked fast on the front stretch. We got penalties upcoming here, no doubt. Here, I don't know if they changed the brake packages. I think that's the number 8 machine. One of the Woodards, they're having real issues. That's Woody Woodard right there having real issues missing his pit box. But I think we're going to see more pit road penalties. Looks like Darling's got one. I think the 23 and Mashburn's already mashed the gas and is driving away in the McDonald's machine. But with 21 laps to go, that seems to be possibly a little bit long to make it all the way to the checkered flag.
They're going to be pushing it, and Darling definitely has a penalty. He is still sitting there. I think it's a 40-second hold for speeding, so he's definitely probably out of the contest here. Looks like he's going to go a lap down right now. They just come by the start-finish line, and Darling's still sitting on pit road, but Himmelman's still out front. JT Poole and Nathan Maurer are following up behind him. Let's see if these guys come in the next two, either next lap or the lap after. I'm going to say they're going to come. I hear some chatter on iRacing. I think they're getting ready to come this time.
There'll be 20 laps to go, make it 19 when they go across the start-finish line, so we think they'll be able to make it from there on fuel. Let's see if we can ride on board here with the number 20 of Andrew Himmel. Let's see if we can go a little bit further back. That was a really interesting pit road entrance for the majority of the field. Let's go on board here with Philip Scott, the National Ninja League number 99 machine Ford Mustang, see what he sees as these cars get to pit road. Everyone doing a good job getting down, but the person who did the best job getting to pit road, that'd be the number 26 machine right there. That's JT Poole. He was able to leapfrog the number 20 of Himmelman, get into pit road. Now we'll see whether or not any of these drivers have a pit road speeding penalty, but at least all things right now looking good for JT Poole. Just got to get the I spoke too soon.
It.
I spoke too soon.
He overshot it, so this may not work out in his favor. Oh, nope, he's going to come out with the rest of them, but it still looks like Maurer and a few others got in front of Himmelman and Poole, so Himmelman and Poole are going to have to work together to get back around these cars, and you know how the two-car tandem is. They just don't. There's not enough in numbers, so they may be out of the running for the lead, maybe.
Yeah, in fact, Timmelman did not have a great stop there getting off pit road. Now, we do have some drivers here a little bit further back. Here, we're watching the number 52. That is William Kerwin, who was leading that second group of race cars. He's now bleeding off to come down pit road, so we know that they'll just have a little bit extra fuel on board. And Kerwin really being cautious getting to pit road, really doesn't want a pit road speeding penalty. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Vickery, number 21 machine, he's going to stay out once again, which is very surprising. Here comes those cars coming down pit road right now. We'll see whether or not they're able to make it and other people won't. The other cars who were just on pit road just flashed on by. We'll kind of catch up with them. There is the National Ninja League number 99 of Philip Scott. Now, we do have this little 3-car draft. The 99, the 20, and the 26. Nathan Maurer in the number 27 machine, he's actually drafting off the back of a lapped car. That is Garrett Gleason, the Dunn Raceway Park Chevrolet Camaro, halfway down the backstretch right there. This could be very, very good for Nathan Maurer. Why? Because not only is he the race leader, the only cars around him are lapped cars here, Justin. And if he can hook up with those lapped cars and kind of maintain the gap on the couple of cars behind, it could be an easy win for that number 27 machine. Now, we do have 17 laps to go. Anything can and will happen here at Dega, but at least things are pretty positive right now for Nathan Maurer as Jeffrey Vickery, the 21, continues to stay out.
Yep, he's pulled up behind those lap cars, and those lap cars are not slow. Those guys are up to speed, and Nathan is just basically getting that tail draft, and he is kind of maintaining that gap back to second place. Philip Scott, so right now it looks like to be like a 1 to maybe 2 second gap, and if he maintains it, he'll end up winning this race just by the luck of a lap car. Not many drivers can say a lap car helped them win.
Yeah, but if you do the numbers here, folks, You do the numbers. We got a 3-car draft right here. About to be 4, actually, as I think they're about to pick up Matthew Clark there in the number 19 machine. I was about to say, you got a 3-car draft and then a 4-car draft. You do the numbers. 4 is better than 3, at least on the Superspeedway, but now we have 4 and 4.
So it looks like that second group's going to catch that tail draft of that first group, and they're going to pull back up, and this is going to be an interesting race right here.
Yeah, I take that back. It looks like you're 100% right. It looks like the number 99, Philip Scott, has all but erased that very, very quickly as they head down the backstretch, going off into turn number 3 here, 196 miles an hour out of the National Ninja League Ford Mustang. He's going to jump up to the high side, but everyone behind him says, you know what? I'm not going to go with you. Philip Scott, just like that, goes from 4th now all the way back. Well, you know what, I say that. He's going to go from 4th to 4th because there's so many lapped cars in this lead group. He's still in the 4th position. Out of this lead pack, we got the number 27, Nathan Maurer, who's in the lead of the race. Andrew Himmelman, who's currently running in 2nd in the number 20 machine, right behind him. And then you got JT Poole, who is the yellow and black 26 machine back behind him. There is JT and the number 99 of Philip Scott. So out of this pack of cars, which is now, if I do my math correctly, I think 9 cars, only 4 of those are actually on the lead lap, believe it or not, which is kind of mind-boggling, Justin.
Very mind-boggling, but Nathan Maurer looks like the lap cars pull out of the way and is going to let the leaders race. And Maurer he's very aggressive getting on and off pit road. I say he's more like a badger, like a honey badger getting off and on pit road. It's kind of like a Kyle Busch of the iRacing world. He can get off and on pit road better than anybody I have ever raced with, and I just don't see how he does it, but he just proved it here tonight again.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. 14 laps to go. There is Chris Darling on the left-hand side of your screen. Now, folks, tonight's the MaxGraphics.co 154 2/3. I was not going to say anything about Chris Darling and his pit road woes over the last couple of months here on the channel. And, of course, it's because he was tonight's race sponsor, MaxGraphics.co. I didn't want to mention it because of that fact. However, for the record, he still had pit road issues. So, Chris, in that M&M's number 47 machine, hoping to see a caution flag, because if a caution flag was to come out right now, he would, I believe, be the lucky dog in that race car right there, running right behind Matthew Clark in the number 19, who's being scored 2 laps down. But, Chris, you better hope that caution flag comes out here pretty soon in about the next 13 laps or so, because, folks, if you're just now joining us here tonight, no cautions all race long. We have 45 laps in the book of the 58 that are scheduled here tonight, and it is currently the number 27, Nathan Maurer, who is leading in the SIMBOX Chevrolet. And also, if you're just now joining us for the first time, you don't want to miss tomorrow night's season finale for the National Sim Racing Association SIMBOX Truck Series. It is going to be a good one. Reigning series champion Mitchell Adams in the number 49 machine. He has a 100% stranglehold on the championship. The SIMBOX chase meets its conclusion. We'll find out who the champion will be right here on 3 Wide TV tomorrow night. We got Tana Himmelman in the chat saying Andrew Himmelman will not be there tomorrow night. He's going to his grandparents for the weekend. That is torture. Absolutely, you're torturing the poor kid. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be really unfortunate not to have Andrew in the field tomorrow night, but do hope that he has a wonderful weekend with the grandparents here in the United States of America. But working their way through the tri-oval once again is Nathan Maurer. Now, Maurer has only led 5 laps here tonight, make that 6 as they go across the start-finish line. But he wants to lead the final 11. He wants to lead 17 laps tonight. He wants that checkered flag here tonight at Talladega. Mitchell Adams saying, I tuned in just in time. Yes, you did. You tuned in just in time to hear us talk about your stranglehold on the SIMBOX Truck Series Championship. In fact, trying to go 2 in a row in the National Sim Racing Association's Truck Series. We'll see whether or not that happens right here on the channel tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern. should be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to that multi-groove action at Chicagoland Speedway. I don't know, iRacing's been hyping it up quite a bit. What are your thoughts? Have you been able to get out there on one of these multi-groove tracks like Auto Club or Chicagoland yet, Justin?
I actually raced Las Vegas last night, and the multi-groove track is definitely back. Now, Las Vegas is similar to like a Atlanta or an Auto Club. The high line ends up being the faster line. So, iRacing has a kind of a niche to either fix the Superspeedway drafting and then ruin the mile and a halves, or fix the mile and a halves and ruin the Superspeedway drafting. So they've still got some work to do, but they have definitely fixed that multi-groove issue at a lot of these tracks. So because that highline at Las Vegas, it was smooth. I mean, it was basically full throttle the entire time around, and the car was a handful, but still fun to drive.
Well, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night at the Chicagoland Speedway. Now, we have 9 laps to go as they go across the start-finish line for Maurer, the 20 of Himmelman right up there, JT Poole, and looks like the number 99 of Philip Scott on the right-hand side of the screen, just getting shuffled back a little bit. The 47 there, the number 10 of Wilson, also up there in this lead pack. Both of those cars actually battling for the lucky dog position. Let's keep our eyes on the 47 and the 10, just in case we do see some caution flag. We have seen action here in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series a couple times in the closing laps of these events, because as the lap counter goes down, usually the action goes up. That's typically what you see on these Superspeedways, and here tonight, keeping it caution-free, 8 laps to go now, as you see. Good look at Brett Wilson's number 10 machine, and the 99 there, Philip Scott, trying to do all he can to get that high line moving, just no one really budging with him to pick him up on that high groove. But JT Poole in the 26 machine, we looked away for just a brief moment. He must have tried to make a move on that high line. Here comes Himmelman. Himmelman now trying to make a move on the high line, but Maurer goes to block. Let's see if they can get formed up on the high groove. The numbers are definitely with that high line, at least for a brief moment, but JT Poole's going to slot back in on the low line, and I think that is going to really cause that high line to stall out. We'll see whether or not that's the case here as we come to 7 laps to go.
Yeah, the high line had some promise, and they're the last time they come to the Trial, Himmelman had a huge run on Maurer, and by pulling out and like sniffing that clean air, it was kind of weird, and he kind of pulled up to Maurer, and then Maurer moved up just a little bit, shut the door, and Himmelman had to fall back in line, and I kind of made all the other cars back behind him shuffle up. We've got 2 lap cars racing side by side up here, and they're going to get that tow drafter, and we're going to see, the lap car's going to move high and give them plenty of room, so that way they can come on by.
Yeah, we'll go on board here with our second place machine, Andrew Himmelman, right behind Nathan Maurer. You see that they've got around those slower lapped cars who are just desperately trying to get a sniff of the draft here at Talladega to see if they can get themselves one of their laps back. But we're down to only 10 cars on the lead lap. That's Jeffrey Vickery in the number 21, who's a little bit up in front of your leaders. You can just kind of see him there kind of on the upper left corner of the windshield of this number 20 machine. We'll see whether Vickery can make it the rest of the race. We do think Vickery can make it. There is a little bit of a question mark on whether or not your leaders can make it to the checkered flag. We believe they can. We think they can make it 19 laps or so on fuel. We'll have to wait and see for confirmation once the checkered flag does fall. But 26 of Poole got a huge run there, working his way through turn number 3 and 4. He jumps to the high side of Himmelman. Is anyone going to go with him? Maybe. Was that a wreck I saw back there? I think it was.
Sir.
Caution flag is out. Ben Mashburn has gone around. We'll see what happened right here. Oh, it was a couple of those lapped cars, and 78 machine, Doug Neal getting involved. A couple of the other cars, Mashburn did a fantastic job getting through there. But I think that was the number 21 machine, 21N of Cody Nevin, who might have had an issue. Let's see if we can go back and watch this. Garrett Gleason there in the Dunn Raceway Park number 7 machine out back. And wow, the 21N just gets on the apron, straight up into the outside wall. gets into the back of the number 19 machine, and then here comes the pack, and man, they kind of beat and bang off of one another. That's Matthew Clark, who definitely hasn't had a good night in the number 19 machine. Just wrong place, wrong time, as the 21 just shot up the racetrack like a lamppost-seeking missile right into the back of that number 19 machine, and bam, there's the 78. Doug Neal also getting into it, but that's going to change everything here, Justin. We might even have a green-white checker, believe it or not.
Yeah, the ones who are questionable on gas, we're going to see them come down pit road because it's obviously they're going to play their hand quickly. I think there was only one car that was questionable, and it looks like, yes, Mr. Darling is going to get the lucky dog, and he is going to be back on the lead lap in the 11th position, and it's going to get interesting. Looks like Nathan just decided to pull off. Looks like Philip Scott pulled off with him, and a few other cars. So these guys obviously thinking they can't make it on gas and better safe to be sorry, just go ahead and fill it up and make sure that they got enough to make it to the end.
Well, with cautions breeding cautions, that is also going to be put into the mix. I mean, can you think if we already have a couple of cars who were not good on fuel, including the race leader, no less, if we get another green-white checker, we could see another batch of cars come down pit road. I mean, it looks like JT Poole, the 26, we got a couple of cars here going down onto the apron. You know what that means, Justin. These cars they're shutting off the car, they're coasting, they're clutching it, whatever they have to get those RPMs down to save precious drops of fuel. There goes Jason Gracias, the number 1 total nonstop racing machine. He's down there as low as you can get down there on the racetrack. That's the shortest way around the racetrack to save as much fuel. So there's definitely a lot of cause for concern right now, especially if we get another green-white checker.
Yeah, because we have 2 green-white checkers, so that if that's possible, that will be 6 extra laps that they won't run under caution. So you're going to have to add your caution laps plus those 6 extra laps. Some of these guys, the top 6 cars, they will not have enough gas to make it for 2 green-white checkers. There's just not unless they just conservatively save and save hard, and that's what some of them look like to be doing. But I don't think that's going to be enough.
Well, let's see if we can talk to our current race leader, driver of the number 26 machine, JT Poole. JT, Peter Short, 3 wide TV booth. You got a copy? I wasn't quite able to pick you up there. JT, Peter Short, 3 wide TV booth. You got a copy? Well, doesn't appear we're able to get JT Poole. Not sure why that is. There is some glitches with Discord. Let's see if we can drag him out into another room. Let's see if we can drag him back in. JT Poole, Peter Short, 3 wide TV booth. You got a copy? It doesn't look like it. We'll see if we can move him back up to the lobby where he is with
our lap leader, Andrew. Dead.
Yeah, we'll see if we can drag him down here. I just want to know how close these people actually are on fuel here tonight. Here's Andrew Himmelman. I'm not seeing Andrew Himmelman. We're striking out here tonight, Justin. We're just not able to get anyone down here. Pace car lights are off. So with the pace car lights turning off, oh, there he is. Andrew Himmelman, Peter Short, 3 wide TV booth. Get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, very quickly, because the pace car lights are off. Fuel, buddy. I think that's the big question mark right now. We saw some cars, they elect to come down pit road. This green-white checker, you think you got enough fuel? Do you think you have enough fuel for another green-white checker?
I think we have enough for one. I don't know about another one. I think my main priority right now is to get to the inside.
Yeah, we've seen that inside line be very strong. Of course, that's where you led a majority of your laps here tonight in that SimShots Chevrolet. But you're going to be starting on the outside line. But you do have Colin Ullery. We know Ullery's very fast on these Superspeedway. He's lining up right behind you. What's your strategy to take home the checkered flag?
Hopefully we can get down on the inside pretty quickly and get around JT, and hopefully we can take this checkered flag home tonight.
All right, well, Andrew, you're halfway down the backstretch, coming to the green flag this time by. We'll let you get back to it. Best of luck here in the closing laps, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Well, he will jump back up to his group that he's with here on the Discord, that all the drivers communicate with one another. And Justin, that's very important here, especially for these restarts, that you can have some other people to communicate with on when to time your restart and when to go, and to try and make some last-minute buddies out there.
Yep, and if I'm in Andrew Himmelman's seat, there's none other there's not only one other person I want behind me, and that's the one who's leading the points, who obviously has figured out these super speedways, is Colin Olery. I want him to push and push me hard.
Yeah, so we will.
They're stacking up back there.
Yeah, that looked like it was back around the number 23 of Ben Mashburn, right behind the 27 of Maurer. Now, we know Maurer is good to go to the end of the race. Good news for Maurer is he didn't lose a whole lot of track position. Now, here's an interesting thing, folks. The caution laps were turned off, but all of a sudden, caution laps are turned back on. Was there something a little bit more that I might have missed out there that might have warranted the caution flag coming back out there, Justin?
It looks like they stacked up on the outside there, which may have triggered the iRacing to throw an additional caution lap. iRacing's known to throw these phantom caution laps for no reason. So the guys who are saving fuel, they're happy to see this. The guys who hit pit road are not happy to see this, because that's one less green flag lap for them.
Yeah, it looks like the caution light had already been thrown. Let's see if we can pause it, figure out. Okay, so the caution light had already been thrown at this point. When did those lights turn on? We'll go back. 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 I swear to everyone, those lights did eventually turn off at one point.
They're off right there.
Yeah, they're off right there, and then they turn on. So that was kind of, it had to be an admin caution, admin giving an extra lap. Not sure what the reason was for that, but that isn't going to help out the likes of Andrew Himmelman and these people up at the front of the field who are, like you said, trying to save enough drops of fuel to make it to the checkered flag, because now they're going to have to run an extra a lap under caution, and the golden rule is 1 lap under caution is half a lap under green. Which on these super speedways, you really can't save a half lap of fuel under green conditions. So I'm really curious to know how this is all going to shake out once that green flag drops.
Yep, and looks like we're getting ready to use our first green, white, checkered. So we're using the first one. If they get to the white flag, the next flag will end it. If they don't get there, we'll line them up one more time and give it another shot, which some of these cars out here, we know, like you said earlier, and like I said earlier, they are already low on fuel. So this is going to get really interesting.
So there you see how they will line up here for the first attempt at a green-white checker here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, 2.6 mile Superspeedway, 154 2/3 miles was the scheduled distance. Well, we will get to that here in about a lap and a half or so. Well, I take that back. About a lap from now, I think we'll reach our scheduled distance. But really, JT Poole bringing him down so slow. You see the back half of the field really starting to stack up. JT Poole with a little bit of a lane change there, jumping up to the high side in front of a couple of these other cars. We'll see whether there's any issues with the administrators and that, but just like that, the field really starting to get strung out. Himmelman all by himself up there. My big question for you, Justin, do you think JT Poole got too big of a jump up there in the top of the field?
Well, as an associate admin, I'm about tempted to right mouse click and give him a black flag, but I don't technically run this, so I'm gonna let them hash it out. But he changed lanes before the start finish line. Any other league we would be in, that would be a black flag pass through. So he may get lucky here.
We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, the back of the pack now hard charging. The 3 and the 99 make contact. They're still wiggling. We're coming to the white flag, though. Once we get the white flag, there will be no more cautions. That was the 99 back there. Here comes the one of Gracias. Gracias going to drop to the inside of Poole, leaves Poole hanging up there on the high line. New race leader for the first time tonight. Jason Gracias has got the number 1 machine out front. White flag is in the air. Contact, the 20 and the 26. Poole is up the racetrack, hard into the outside wall. Heavy contact. We stay green flag.
A green flag, and now it's going to be a 2-car race to the end with your points leader coming in second behind Gracias, so we'll see if he's got anything for him. Maybe see if he maybe try to set him up here coming out of 4, and he's staying right in behind him. Hopefully he'll get a little bit more of a run, get a little bit of a side draft, and take home the win. But it looks like it may be Gracias coming through the trial.
Gracias all by himself, uncontested right now. Ullery trying to suck up to him, not able to do so. Jason Gracias goes to victory lane in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. Andrew Himmelman going to drop down to 8th. Even worse for JT Poole, but Gracias got to the front, led 1 lap here tonight, and it's the lap that matters the most, Justin.
That's the money lap. You cannot lead the rest of them and lead that lap, and he did it.
You see Mike Floppy Tellier giving him a little bit of a congratulatory bump right there on the final lap. I know what a crazy finish. It really started to unravel there with contact coming out of turn number 4 between the number 99, I think the 27, and Nathan Maurer. We'll have to see if we can go back and break down what all happened there on the final lap. We'll see if we can get Jason Gracias here. Give him a little bit of time to celebrate his win here in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. MaxGrafix.co 154 2/3. He's just going to drop it down to the inside here, right in the middle of the tri-oval, and a little bit of rallycross, making some really good S-bends in the grass. Pretty surprisingly there for Gracias. Shows us how it's done.
Now he's going to burn him down here at the start-finish line. And impressive last lap, next to last lap pass to lead it. And like I said, he led the one that mattered.
That he did, burning it down right here on the start-finish line, and might have toasted the motor. Now he gets it spooled back up. So Jason Gracias here getting the win. Let's see if we can go back here a little bit and see if we can dial up exactly what all went down there on the final lap or so, because it really, like I said, kind of started to snowball there with the contact coming out of turn number 4. Let's see if we can dial this up. Watch the number 99 machine here of Philip Scott. You see the outside line just start to stack up a little bit. Scott's got a run. He's got the 27 behind him. Oh, he tried to drop to the inside there of James Woodard, who's going to walk away with a 3rd place finish here tonight. The number 3 machine. That drops him back. But let's see the number 3 machine right here of Woodard. Let's watch his move up to the front. Enters the final lap in about the 5th or 6th position. Let's watch this contact. The 26 machine of Poole drops down in front of the number 20 of Himmelman. There's that contact. Himmelman gets, and man, the number 3 machine of Woodard, you saw it right there, drops all the way down to the bottom side of the racetrack and passes a bunch of cars. Let's see if we can get another look at that one. Let's see if we can slow this down into 3-wide TV slow motion. Poole drops down. Himmelman not getting out of the throttle. I don't think you would on the final lap. And there goes Woodard, just drops to the inside, says, you know what? I'm avoiding an accident. Going to keep my foot in it. Makes the pass below the yellow line. We'll see if the admins are cool with that. But definitely a lot of contact further back in the pack as JT Poole's race. Well, it unraveled very, very quickly there, Justin.
It did. He tried. Looks like he tried to clear himself, and it's just nobody was there.
Yeah, we right on board with Colin Ullery. Your points leader will undoubtedly add to that points lead here tonight with a runner-up finish. Been so strong this year in this series. Already got a couple wins to his name right here on 3-wide TV. Coming into the tri-oval, there's Gracias, just not able to suck up to that back bumper, and Jason Gracias picking up the win here tonight on 3-wide TV. Well, folks, we're going to step away for a brief moment. We'll see if we can get everyone into the 3-wide TV booth. I'm trying to see if we have our 3rd place finisher here tonight, James Woodard, in the chat. I'm not seeing him in the chat here tonight, which is...
An interview waiting now.
Oh, is he? Okay, good deal. Well, let's see if we can dial him up. Let me see if I can dial up Mr. James Woodard here tonight, our 3rd place finisher. James Woodard, Peter Short, 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, great job here tonight. Slicing and dicing your way through it. It didn't exactly look like the race was going your way until that caution flag came out there with about 7 or 8 laps to go. What was going through your head at that point? And talk us through that final lap.
Well, basically just trying to draft. This package is a little bit different from what we've been running. You really got to get a good run and keep the RPMs up, and just wanted to draft and try to stay on that low lane, saw them get together, and just had to bring it all the way down and avoid that big wreck at the end.
Yeah, tell us about kind of the Days of Thunder move there, keeping your foot in it there on the final lap. And I think that's what everyone was doing because, like you said, if those RPMs drop here with this new package, you're kind of a sitting duck.
Yeah, it's a little bit, as you probably know, it's a little bit easier to grab the brake, just tap the brake a little bit, keep the RPMs up. But yeah, had to mash and go on that last crash. I had no choice.
Well, definitely a great job slicing your way up to a podium finish here tonight on the channel. And I know, James, Superspeedway Series, with this new package, Daytona and iRacing Superspeedway always on the horizon in this particular series. How do you think it's going to affect both Daytona and iRacing Superspeedway now that we have this new package? Or are you expecting to be like what we saw here tonight, or maybe at Daytona a little bit sharper corners? Do you think that might lend itself to a little bit more passing than what we see at Dega? And of course, iRacing Superspeedway, no restrictor plates at that track.
Yeah, the iRacing will definitely be fun, with no restrictor plate. But Daytona, it's gonna be tight, man. I mean, it's a real tight package. It's keeping everybody really honest with their line. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, definitely going to be fun to see that here over the next couple of weeks in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. But James, before we let you go, like always here on 3Wide TV, we always give you the opportunity to give a shout out. So let's hear them.
Hey, shout out to all my family and everybody who's watching on the live stream, and definitely shout out to Taz Customs, man. It's awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right, well, folks, that is going to do it here for tonight's third place finisher. Congratulations, James, and hopefully you can go celebrate with everyone back home.
Thank you. Have a good night, man.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our third place interview here tonight. Let's see if we can dial up Colin Othery, your points leader. I believe that Justin White has caught up with him. Justin?
Hey, Colin. Justin here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
So, Mr. Points Leader, looks like you tried to build on your points position, your lead here tonight. What was your thinking coming down that final lap? I know you were trying to go for the win, but were you just looking to maybe catch a little extra draft from Jason Gracias and maybe get around him, or do you knew the package just wasn't going to allow that?
I knew the package wasn't gonna let me get around him, and he was, when we exited 4, he was just getting away from me. I just didn't understand why, but I'm happy to get a podium. Got a massive points lead now, so at the end of the day, it's a good race.
Well, as when the series was created, it was a big thing. Top 10, points at the end of the race. You get the points then. So looks like you continue to finish in the top 10 each and every week. So you're gonna keep building that points. Next week looks like we're going back to Daytona. What kind of strategy are you looking at there? I know it's get out front, stay out front, but are you going to hang out back and save that fast repair, or are you going to make your charge?
I'm going to try and qualify pole and just stay there. I think that's the best option with this package, but I haven't ran any Daytona or Talladega races. This was my first Talladega race for the new package, so I'm going to try and do a Daytona race and see how that goes, because I just hope that offers a little bit more passing.
Yep, 10-4. So we'll give you the last opportunity to shout out to anybody that you haven't shouted out to, or anybody you want to re-shout out to. You got anybody in mind?
Yeah, everyone for watching, and you guys for putting on the broadcast and all that stuff, and all the sponsors of the league.
Well, 10-4. Go enjoy your growing points lead, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
All right, well, Colin Othery, your points leader coming into tonight, and another very strong finish. Didn't lead any laps here tonight, but, only led 1 lap less than Jason Gracias, as Gracias made that last lap pass. Jason, wow, unbelievable. Able to kind of snooker the number 26 machine of JT Poole into making a little bit of a mistake, leaving the bottom open. And I can't help but think that tonight's draft package was similar to what we saw back in the day in NASCAR Racing 2003 series, where low line was king. And I think you showed that you had those skills right there at the end to kind of trick someone into something they didn't want to do, and you were able to squeak on by. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this was an interesting race to say the least. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of this new package. I think they nailed a couple things with the side drafting. I think the bubble between cars, the little air cushion when you're following somebody, needs a little work. I know it's hard to suck up on someone unless you had a massive run. But, it was interesting. We made the most of it. I had, I think, 58 laps this race, so I did a 58 lap test session trying out different moves to see what would work. And faking up high and going low didn't work in this package because you just blocked the bottom and you were good. So I did a double juke to the top and I cut it down to the inside. And I guess I timed that right. I guess finally, after all those second place finishes, I got my timing right to finally take a win away.
Yeah, definitely left that race-winning move till right there at the end. Extremely impressive. Jason, of course, not your first time up here in the 3-wide TV booth as well. I asked the same question a little while ago to our third-place finisher here tonight, James Woodard. And I said, this draft package here at Talladega, it didn't seem all too lively. Seemed like you were able to kind of manage a gap to the other cars behind you. But Daytona and iRacing Superspeedway, Daytona being a little bit sharper in the corners, you might get those RPMs drop. You might be able to get a little bit bigger runs there. And, of course, iRacing Superspeedway, no restrictor plate. How do you think this package is going to race at those particular racetracks?
Well, I can't speak for iRacing Superspeedway, but I did do a race yesterday at Daytona, and it was similar to here, maybe a little bit worse, just because Daytona is a tighter track, more narrow. So it's all about dragging your brake and trying to get a run on the guy in front of you. I mean, it's tough if there's a guy behind you, and you guys can get linked up bumper to bumper. It'll work, but if you watch the race, when we did get somebody's bumper and try to bump them into the corner, the cars are just much more sensitive to air now. So when you get a car right up on somebody's rear spoiler, you can take the air off of them, and they lose traction in their steering. So I'm not entirely sure, but hopefully iRacing Superspeedway is better because there's no restrictor plate. But again, I just think this package needs a little bit of fine tuning to really nail it. I think the last package we had in the last build was a lot better than this, produced better racing, but from what the pros have said, this is more realistic, so I guess this is here to stay.
Yeah, we'll have to see as the races go on here in the Taz Racing Customs Superspeedway Series. But Jason, I know, first off, big congratulations here for picking up the win in the MaxGrafix.co 154 2/3 here at Talladega Superspeedway. Before we let you go, any shout-outs?
Yeah, again, thanks to NSRA and Chris Darling and his team for putting on a phenomenal league to race in. It's really fun. You guys should check them out. Thanks to all the guys that make this possible. SIMBOX for coming on for the Truck Series and sponsoring its broadcast. Thanks to Taz for being the title sponsor of the series. I'm excited. Taz is actually building me a diecast for my championship over at the TWRP Racing Series, which you guys should check out too. So I'm excited to get that. I should be getting this that diecast here anytime this month. Thanks to 3-Ride TV. You and Justin did a good job calling the race. I was checking out some highlights while waiting for you guys to come interview me. Thanks to Chris Darling and Max Graphics for this sick paint scheme. Everyone go to maxgraphics.co if you need a base or any cars made. Chris does excellent work at a very fair price. He rivals some of the pro designers out there, so make sure you go check out his website and support him. Really good dude.
Absolutely. maxgraphics.co, not .com, and that's because one less letter to type because Chris knows you don't have time to screw around. Leave off the end.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what shots that Andrew Himmelman and Sim Shots take. So look forward to that coming out on Facebook. It's Sim Shots on Facebook.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for stopping by here. Congratulations once again for picking up the win, Gracias, and we'll get to see you here again soon on the channel.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of your night or weekend if I don't catch you tomorrow.
Absolutely. And of course, as we let Jason Gracias go celebrate his win here tonight, folks, you don't want to miss tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here on 3YTV, the finale of the SIMBOX Truck Series here in the National Sim Racing Association. Justin, I know you'll be in that one. What are you expecting to see tomorrow night in that race?
I'm expecting Mitchell to defend his points lead. I think he's either 35 or 39 points ahead. So he basically just has to start it and not wreck out, and he will pretty much be our champion for the second year in a row. So he's definitely in a nice seat to be in. That's the kind of seat that you want to be in when you're leading the points coming down to the final week.
Yeah, that is for sure. Of course, folks, we want to give a huge shout out to MaxGraphics.co as well as the other series sponsors, of course, Taz Racing Customs for sponsoring the series, as well as a lot of the other people, Brookstone Animal Hospital, Lynchburg T-shirt Company, Sim Racing Shirts, and the other sponsors of the National Sim Racing Association that really help this league put things together. Big shout out to our friends over at Sim TV for the camera angles that we bring you each and every week here on the channel as well. Make sure you go check them out here on YouTube. We really appreciate all the people liking the video here tonight. We've got 7 likes. That's absolutely awesome. Really do appreciate it, guys. Hopefully you can hit that thumbs up button to support the National Sim Racing Association and all of us here over at 3YTV. But Justin, any final thoughts of tonight?
No, just tune in next week. It's gonna with this new package. Like I said, it's gonna be extremely interesting. And we'll see what happens next week. This, like I said, this is something that is different. That's not normal. Usually you go to 1.5 mile short tracks, but this series is all super speedway. So, like I said, again, go check out Taz Racing Customs, check out Max Graphics CO and Sim Shots, and matter of fact, while you're at it, go buy yourself a SIMBOX over at SIMBOX PC on Facebook. And other than that, I am good for the evening.
All right, well, folks, thanks again for stopping by here on 3YTV. Have a great night. Have a great day wherever you might be. If you're watching the VOD, I really do appreciate it. Have a good time until you're back here on the channel. Remember to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and we'll see you again here on the channel. But until then, have a good night. We shall see ya.